BBC Radio Gloucestershire. Now, 3 years ago, we met Jessica Perry from Newent, and she had just posted a petition online that was very, very close to her heart. Jess had lost 2 babies and understandably had to take some time off work following the miscarriages. She said she wanted to make sick pay a statutory right after miscarriage, and she posted her petition basically to test the water.
It was really after the second miscarriage that I really wanted to do this because I knew that, there wasn't a pay thing in place. I was so aware. And because I was actually hospitalised the second time, I remember checking my emails in hospital because...
Work emails?
Yeah, work emails. Just because I was so much more aware the second time because I thought, right, I can't have too much time off. We've got to get back, I've got to get back. And my husband kept saying, you need to just take as much time as you need. And I think people kind of... They don't do that. I mean, I know women that have just gone back straight away.
So how are things going for Jess and her husband then 3 years on? She's with me on the line. Good morning to you, Jess.
Good morning.
Nice to speak to you. I can't believe that was 3 years ago, can you?
It has gone so quick. I think when I think back, I think it feels like yesterday, but so much has happened in that 3 years. It's just absolutely whizzed.
Yeah. Well, there's certainly been one big change in your life. Tell me about Harry.
Yes, Harry is the latest addition to the family. Harry is now 2, so he's entered the realm of terrible toddler. So he tests me every day. But so after the 2 miscarriages, we then fell pregnant with Harry. And actually, it wasn't long after the radio interview. It was probably about a month later that we found out. So it was,
well, I consider us good luck.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And but I mean, the thing is, when you've had the experience that you've had, and I know there are other women who will be recognising this as we speak, does that mean you can't relax at any point in that pregnancy, or is there a moment when you can just start to enjoy it?
Oh, do you know, it was funny. I expected that because we hadn't reached 12 weeks with the other 2, and I expected that when we got to the 12-week scan, that all of a sudden all the anxiety would go away and it would be fine. And so we went to that 12-week scan, and we had the scan and everything was brilliant, and they said that everything looked really healthy, nothing to worry about. And I feel like all of a sudden I worried more. I thought that the weight would be released, but it just wasn't. So it was quite a stressful pregnancy. And each milestone, each week, you're really aware that you're even further on. So then it becomes, if something goes wrong now, it's going to be even more traumatic than, when we lost one at 8 weeks. So it was a bit bittersweet. It was difficult to just relax and enjoy, but I did try as much as I could to, I took a lot of photos, I documented it, I tried to talk about my anxieties as much as possible because I think that really helped. And obviously, my husband was going through exactly the same thing. He was just as worried because, at least it was happening to me, and physically, I knew that the baby was in there and kicking and safe. But from his point of view, it was all just watching and waiting and hoping that we got a baby at the end of it, which we did.
Which you did, lovely Harry. Did it bring you closer together, all of that worry, or did it put a pressure on the relationship, I wonder? Do
you know what? It forced us to communicate more. I think because we were being a lot more open about our feelings, because we had to be, and we were we were talking about everything that was worrying us each step of the way. It actually brought us closer together because obviously we'd been through the miscarriages and the pregnancy was difficult. It was probably slightly easier for me to deal with because I knew that I was pregnant. I could feel it. But Luke, throughout the pregnancy, he said a lot, when I'm holding a baby, then I'll be fine. When I see that baby, I'll be calm and I'll be happy. But at the moment, it's just too, it's still too raw. But it definitely did. It forced us to talk about it, I think. And sort of after each scan, we we'd go for coffee and we'd talk about exactly what we were feeling and how we thought it was going to go. And so it was nice. It definitely, it was a journey, and it was a very difficult 9 months. But it was nice to kind of have somebody who'd been through the same thing. We could share our worries together.
Yes, I can understand that. And did they ever get to the bottom of because there often isn't anything particular, or they can't pinpoint what the particular potential issue is. Was there anything particular? Because, that, I don't know if that would be comforting to know or not, but, did they ever get any sense of what's going on?
Well, bizarrely enough, we actually had a consultant appointment last week because since Harry, we've gone on to have 2 further miscarriages.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So because of that, we did have a case for investigation. Usually you have to have 3 miscarriages in a row consecutively, and then they'll investigate why it's happening. But with us, because we'd had the 4, they said that they would sort of refer us to find out more. So they have done a lot of tests, and the most recent miscarriage, they actually sent off for testing, and they did find that it was abnormalities with the baby, so it was chromosomal abnormalities. And unfortunately, that with chromosomal abnormalities, there's just nothing that they can do. There's no reason why it happens. It's literally just during sort of the initial stages of fertilization, something goes wrong. So there's nothing you can do. It's just the separation of the cells just goes wrong. So they've done loads of tests. They've done another test to check my blood clotting ability to see if there's anything around that. But they basically told us our chance of having another miscarriage is very slim, according to them, sort of medically. But obviously, we have had 4 miscarriages, so it's difficult. I half hoped that they might say, right, this is what we found, and this is what we're going to do. Or even if they'd said, this is what we found, we'd advise probably don't try again. At least we would have had a bit of closure, maybe. We would have had an answer. But where we are at the moment is a bit limbo, because we think, well, if the chances sort of physically are quite slim that we'd have another miscarriage, do we risk it, or might it happen again? So it's so hard. There's so much research at the moment going into miscarriage. Like Tommy's baby charity is amazing, and they have just recently completed a study that proves that progesterone in early pregnancy can help women who've miscarried. And so we are with eligible for that. So if we were to get pregnant again, then they'd start us on progesterone, which is great. And, they are fighting our corner, and they're right behind us.
What about the petition, Jess? What's the latest on that, if
so
anything?
With my petition, not long after my petition, I did actually leave my job and go on to a new place. The petition was amazing to get things started for me. It kind of made me more aware when I was in that little miscarriage bubble that so many people were going through the same thing, and so many people had these experiences. And I got about 600 signatures on the petition initially, and lots of comments. And it was the comments, I think, that got me the most, because people were absolutely pouring their hearts out. Some people anonymous, some people, it was people in my life I know, and I didn't even know that they'd been through it. And because I was so open about my miscarriage and what happened, I had people messaging me on Facebook and saying, I hope you don't mind, but can I talk about the miscarriage that I went through? And it was amazing for connecting with people. So after that, I started on Instagram, I started a page, and I started to just be really, really open and honest every step of the way about things I was going through. I did a video diary of my last miscarriage, just of my feelings and exactly sort of emotionally what I was going through, just so that I could put it out there just for anyone else that needs it.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I think because the petition just highlighted to me that people need to talk about it. Like, people want to vent. They want somebody that they can talk to that has actually been through exactly the same thing, because then, they've got more understanding. So it sort of lit the fire for me.
Well, it certainly did, and it's obviously it's a conversation that opened up not just for you, for a lot of other people. Although at the moment, the passion to get statutory sick pay after miscarriage is not there yet. But Jack's law is coming into place next month in April, and that's a fantastic step forward for bereaved parents. That means that bereaved parents are going to be entitled to 2 weeks paid leave from work, and it's interesting, really interesting to hear how Jess has been part of the conversation now for 3 years, and I'm chuffed a bit on your behalf, Jess, that for you both, that Harry has come into your life. Brilliant news, and thanks for the update.